Binox CRM is uniquely designed for MSPs, and you can go from sourcing highly qualified leads to selling in less than a minute. Let Binox automation work for you. Follow up, quote, and convert. More customers in one place.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just allow a couple of minutes for the rest of the people to come in, and then we're going to get started. Got a full pack show today. We're going to be talking about what to do in this upcoming recession and how to prepare for 2023. We're super excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining us. Awesome. So we'll start right on the dot at 4 p.m. Thank you for joining me on this webinar. It's packed with a ton of information, so please feel free to post any questions on the chat. We're going to make this as interactive as possible. My name is Walter Contreras, and I still run my MSP in New York. But we also created this amazing tool called Binox MSP that I'll show you today a little bit about it. But I've been doing this for around 15 years. And you know, there's been so many things I've learned throughout this process, this journey of being an MSP. But many of us started our MSP simply because we love technology and we love helping people. But then we quickly realized that in order to be a successful MSP, you must become many different things to your customers, right? So what I get to hear mostly from my peers is that the one thing we lack of is sales knowledge, sales processes, and all that stuff. And many MSPs tell me that they just simply don't have any time for it. I will tell you this, though, in order to realize all your dreams, sales is the only thing that will set you free. I just happened to, today I picked up this book from my library. It's an amazing, it's a complete coincidence, by the way, but this book is about abundance. And not just about money, but actually about wealth and how to help other people with it. So I do have a theory, though, about why we're not so greatly focused on sales. And that is because our industry is geared toward technology, right? So, you know, you go to an event show, the last few years I've been doing shows, and every single one of the vendors in there is there to sell you something, a different technology for you to sell. And so they're trying to make you a super tech, but the problem with that is, you know, super tech has to sell this. Super tech has to go out into the marketplace and sell that to their customers. So unless we help super tech become a better sales manager, salesperson, super tech will get tired and frustrated and lose interest in selling. However, I will tell you that I have a proven method on how to increase your sales. And I'm not here to sell you any of those special packages like the 3 steps to how to be a X or how to automate the blah, blah, blah things. I am here to show you how I, an MSP in New York, is currently doing that right now. And hopefully my experiences will help you to improve yours. Let's talk about leads, by the way, because everything starts from the leads, right? So I came up with this term, BYOL, bring your own leads. You can bring your leads into Binox. You can bring your contacts into Binox. We don't really care where that information comes from, but let's define it. You know, I speak to, I don't know, literally hundreds of MSPs monthly. And if I asked you right now, you probably have 100 different definitions of what a raw lead, what a lead is, for the system, for your CRM or whatever you're using. What is a raw lead versus qualified? I think this has been the most discussed thing in the world when it comes to sales. However, it is 2023 almost, and I will tell you that the only thing that you should be concerned about is data. Why? Well, if you look at the biggest businesses in the planet today, Google's, Facebook's, all these, what they're doing is collecting data, because data is the most powerful thing you can possibly have. You know, data such as the industry that these organizations that you're looking for, are they the right target? You know, you could spend a ton of money in marketing and sales, hiring people to sell you a CRM or set up a CRM for you and all that stuff. But if you had the wrong leads, It's just you're just throwing your money away. So let's talk about the new, what I call the smart lead, right? Because this is 2023, right? If you can't find some of this information easier than now, we have a bigger problem, right? So let's talk about that lead. First of all, opted in. How many companies sell you leads or information or clean leads or whatever, and they can't even give you emails. They can't even tell you if you can actually start to market to those companies, right? Can you get social profiles, LinkedIn profiles, especially LinkedIn? LinkedIn it's huge. We make a ton of money on LinkedIn right now. Is it the right industry decision? Is it the right person? You know how many leads I get? People tell me, Walter, this guy wants IT services, call him. And it's not the right person. It's the office manager who has no decision power. Yes, I can start the relationship there, but I must be aware that there's other people on the top of the food chain that are going to make that decision. So you need to know this information when you start, because you're going to waste a ton of time. Territories, number of employees. How many times you get a lead that is, oh, they're like 25 people, and then you end up signing it's like 2 people. So do they have money? Can they pay you? And technographics, we'll talk a little bit about this a little more, because the future is here, guys. I mean, look, if some of you guys are really, really good at doing X, right? So some of you guys are great at in my case, I'm great in the insurance agency. By the way, I do a lot of independent insurance agents around the country. So I'm really great at serving that industry. I know their products. I've been in insurance for 20 something years. I know the software. I know their difficulties. I know their pain. So if I know the technology they're using, I can find more of those customers. By the way, great paying customers. So let's talk about the breakdown of the sales goals. And, I'll give you some examples. I happen to be privileged to be in a ConnectWise competition with Binox last year, and a lot of this information comes from ConnectWise. But let's talk about the average managed service deal in the country right now. So 2,000, argue that could be 3,000. Who cares, right? I'm just giving you a number so you can think about how these managed service deals affect you. So 2,000 a month is the average monthly managed service deal around the country. If you're good in sales, you're going to cross-sell them, you're going to upsell them, you're going to sell them some project work, some phone systems, whatever else you sell. And so that customer within 5 years should represent about 170 grand. Again, it could be a lot more, it could be less, depending on where you are and what you're selling. I will give you the most basic Binox leads plan that we use, and these are my numbers that I use in my MSP, depending on how many appointment setters, but I'm just giving you one, okay? 75 leads is the number I start with. I put 75 leads in the system. We send mailers, postcards, letters, whatever it is that you do in marketing to warm up that lead, right? And only because we want to get them into a 4-cycle phone call. We want to call them 4 times. And so we're yielding about 10 appointments a month based on those numbers. Those are my numbers right now for 1 appointment setter. Now, I'll tell you my results. 100% of those people that have scheduled an appointment with me will do an audit or risk assessment. You can call it whatever you want. Why? Because people know what they're there for. And I'll show you in a little bit how I do that. 100% of those people will also get a quote, a proposal on how I'm going to fix the problems I'm going to show them. And here's where we break apart. We all fall apart on the follow-ups, by the way, because it's really difficult to have an MSP, to be putting out fires day to day, doing all the things that you do, and stay on top of your deals. It's really, really hard, especially if you're using a PSA. Some of you are using a CRM, but even those CRMs, you come in and you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do? So, but just so you know, I'm closing about 1 or 2 customers a month based on those numbers. That is what we're doing right now. That's about $500,000 a year, guys. And so we believe in our MSP in what we call our 4 steps to the sales process. Just so you guys know, feel free to post anything on the chat. Carla is managing the chat. She will be able to tell me what you guys are writing. Please be nice. But let's talk about the 4 steps of the sales process, okay? Number 1, the interview. And this is gonna make so much sense for you guys. You're gonna be like, wow, I didn't think about it like that before. So the interview, and then the assessment, something we call the readout, and lastly, the proposal. Okay, so let's go one at a time so you can start preparing. Let's go. So let's go back. I'm sorry. I think I had an issue here with my, okay. So the interview. The interview is literally a formality. What I mean by that is you getting into it. By the way, we are doing, sorry about this screen, by the way. We're doing 100%, 100% meetings on Zoom for our MSP. 100%. We're not doing anything in person right now. So the interview, it's literally a formality for us. We have a ton of data, right? So we arrive to that meeting. We're early. We're presentable. We're in front of the camera. We speak to the prospect, and the only thing for that is that we have to have the first problem that we see with this process is that we need to have this information in order to have a successful interview. And so getting this information manually could become very, very cumbersome and time consuming. So in my case, I only serve one industry, as I mentioned to you. I only work with independent insurance agents around the country. And I said country purposely because I never thought about it before this year, the past 2022. Before I was very regional in New York. Now we're doing a ton of business in Louisiana and completely outside of this New York tri-state area. So really happy to share that with you because the method that I'm showing you is the method that I use to do that. Okay. So how do we get this information? Look, I don't want you to think that you're here to buy leads from me or to buy Binox from me. I'm here to show you what I do. Whether you bring your own leads, doesn't matter to us, but I'm just going to show you the process, okay? So, and I'll go into detail once I go into Binox and I'll share that with you, but we are able to produce 95% accurate data inside of Binox that is humanly verified. I'll show you how we do that, but it's so important. Just like you wouldn't close any tickets, right? Any other service tickets without researching the problem, solving the issue. You shouldn't show up to an interview without this information, right? Because when you have this information, you become the most powerful person in that interview, and you will convert them all to that assessment, which is the next thing, right? The only purpose of me interviewing a prospect is to convert them into that assessment. If they tell me no, that's where that attempt ends, right? I'm not going to continue from that. I know that they're not ready for me. I'll have some drip marketing campaigns going for the next until they say no to me. But if they don't convert, that's where my process stops, right? That's a red light for me. But not, like I said, almost 100% of those do say yes because again, they have received marketing from us. They know who we are. They know who we serve. Our appointment setting team asks a series of questions, so they know why they're coming to that interview process. So that's why we have such a high ratio of conversion. And again, the data helps a ton. Problem number 2 is how do I make during that assessment and do a great job of having the prospect feel the pain, feel that they have been betrayed, feel that all these things that you're showing them right now that they have problems with, that the last IT guy was not doing the job as they were paying. So the method that I recommend is a fast trackable assessment method. I have no relation other than I love the product with Galactic Scans, my friend Bruce. We happen to be in Producers Club with Robin Robbins, but aside from that, I love his product. I'm endorsing it. I don't get paid for it. So just full disclaimer. However, it's easier to use, right? Because the customer, the prospect will get a very simple link to do the assessment. And that's where we have interactions. Carla actually helps me tremendously on that, because she will be the one in charge going back and forth. Look, people will say, yes, Walter, I'll run the scan, but they won't do it. They'll forget about it, or they send it to somebody they didn't. Carla will start calling them, following up on them, which, by the way, helps you build a relationship with those prospects. It helps you become even closer with them. They'll really gain a lot of trust and respect during that process. Okay. So when you get to the readout, which is the portion, the next step for us is when we read the results of that scan. I will tell you that is when I become less of a technician, less of an engineer, and more of just a business person, right? I speak to them freely. I speak to them about the business problem. I stay very non-technical. When I get to the assessment, I have already built so much rapport with these prospects that I have enough relationship that I'll tell them some really difficult things that they may not want to hear during that readout, such as, their bank account is going to get stolen. And this is how, by the way, I just breached your Office 360. I'm very careful how I word things, but I make it enough of an impact. And it's true, by the way, it's the truth. I'm not lying. I'm showing in the assessments. And so at that point, we have a really, really good conversation about it. Now, I do want to tell you, when you are doing these readouts, be very careful and very mindful of not scaring the person too much, right? You want to be the thought leader, the person who they trust to do this in the future, and then set up the next meeting so you can have a good conversation about the actual proposal. Talking about proposals, one of the biggest, most cumbersome things is that we're doing some follow-ups on the CRM. We have to quote in some quoting tool that probably is connected to your PSA. So that information has to go into the PSA, then it has to go to the quoting tool, and it's just a mess, right? So, and again, it's all about that follow-up, right? It's all about staying on top of those opportunities and leads and all that stuff. So I want to show you how we do this right now with Binox, okay? And first off, as I said before, Binox is a lead generation tool, meaning we source data, and similar to ZoomInfo, and I can't compare to Info USA, by the way, because we do have actual good data. But we also are a CRM, and within a month or so, we will be 100% a quoting tool. But I want to start with the lead, because that is, to me, where everything starts, and it's the most important thing, because you're going to waste a lot of money, a lot of efforts, a lot of time. So I did a basic search in Binox here using my zip code. Within the 10-mile radius of my zip code, I select the constructions. Again, you can put SIC codes, NIC codes. You can do deep searches. You can search by contact, by title. You can tons of things. We'll teach you how to use it. But I'm doing a basic one here, and I'm putting seats of 25 to 200 employees. I'll show you technographics later, but it's basically finding technology that these companies might be using at this time. Now, these results will come in, and you can look at them on a map view, so you can actually see them. You can visually see them where they're located. And the other thing is, when you click on these companies, you're going to get to see what we call human verified leads and machine verified leads. I'm going to show you human because they're great leads, but think about it this way. This information you see here, LinkedIn profiles, emails, mobile numbers, company numbers, addresses, everything about this person, about this company is going to come into our CRM with a single click of this button. Now, you can select multiple, so you can build your own list, create your own list, and then later on move it to our CRM. You can do that. You can, when you click this button here, though, what our system does is it goes and purchases that lead, and it takes all that information, all the information that this prospect had, just came into Binox CRM, which is the second thing we do really well. Now, I didn't have to type anything. I didn't have to put any information. All the information about Sean came in, his website, his LinkedIn profile came in, right? His mobile number, his work number. I didn't type a single letter when this lead came in. And I call that magic, by the way, because that's my thing. Like, I don't want to type anything, right? Like, I want to find the right person and then I want to keep moving. Now, Binox is a unique CRM because it has very tight integrations with your current PSAs. And we'll talk about that in a second, but I want to show you the things that we built as far as sales tool, because Binox is all about the sale. We want to move the sale forward, right? And we don't want to stop you. We want you to hit the ground running, go really, really fast. So we built our own dialer inside Binox. You can pick a number from your area code, and then you can start making phone calls, put notes on them, maybe even schedule those calls for later. Now, we also built our own SMS tool. People say, Walter, why SMS? Well, the next frontier of marketing is SMS texting. I don't text right away. I don't text immediately, but I do text once I have a relationship with that person and I have built some trust with that person and I ask for permission. That's when I begin to send texting. You wouldn't believe how many deals I resuscitated from just sending a simple text. Hey, did you get that approval done? Video mail is a super powerful tool that is built right into Binox. When you press this button, it starts recording your screen. You now can do a video, introduce yourself to this prospect. Maybe you have a template that you have built inside of our own templating tool for marketing. Maybe you have, I don't know, maybe you have other things in here, but we have such a deep integration with email, Office 365, G Suite, anything you have. So great tooling. We integrate with Zoom, Teams for meetings. We built a ton of tools to help you take action right away. Carla, I'm going to pause here for a second. Are there any questions on the chat?
Hi. Yes, actually, the first question that we have is, how difficult is it to bring over all the information I have in my current CRM?
Oh, that's a great question. So I'll show you that real quick right after this, but I just want to continue with opportunities because honestly, guys, this is where I feel we had the most powerful contribution to the channel is when this lead becomes an opportunity, right? By maybe you scheduling that interview we were talking about. When you hit save and you fill up this information here, what Binox does, it takes that information and it puts it directly into your PSA. So I happen to be a ConnectWise partner, full disclosure. And again, all that information comes directly into the PSA. So you might be quoting, I happen to use ConnectWise Sell. You might be quoting your products and services in Sell. And when you save this, you don't need Sell, by the way. You might be doing it manually in ConnectWise. But when you save this opportunity, that's when Binox brings it back into the CRM as an opportunity. What you see here is basically our own pipeline, right? And I built it the way I wanted to build. We'll prescribe one when you sign up to Binox. We'll give you some basic pipeline, but you can change these pipelines. You can rename the stages. You can do whatever your method is, you can do that. And then you can start moving opportunities through that pipeline with Binox. Now, we call these little things cards. And in the card, there's tons of information already, right? You can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can see that these cards will have again, we have that integration with LinkedIn. So you'll see the picture, which humanizes the lead, by the way. And, we have the person's name, the company name, the prospect's name, margins and revenues, because we now know with our integration with, in this case, ConnectWise, you can create labels, you see activities and things like that from Binox. But by clicking this plus button, you can start taking action on these opportunities immediately without even having to go into the opportunity. Binox is super smart, by the way. It'll continue to keep you focused, because when you come into Binox, if you have missed an activity, is going to populate it to the top so that you can go and take action on that first. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the opportunity life cycle here, because this is where Binox really shines. Every single phone call that you make, any activity that you make, will be registered in the system. We record every phone call for training, so you can download or play that call for training purposes. Any notes, any activities, anything that you work with, you can edit this quote directly right from within Binox. You can see emails from the opportunity. You can reply. You can actually have the entire conversation just like an Outlook inside of Binox. And if you sent an email from Binox, we actually tell you if the person opened it or not. We have some secret sauce there going on. And again, we are the first and only tool that brings products into the CRM. I'm very proud of that, because some of you guys probably don't want to keep your salespeople in the CRM. So, you know, I'm sorry, in the PSA. So you want to keep them in the CRM only, and we can show them the products that they're selling to their customers. That's a very powerful thing. And Carla, I'm going to pause right here. I'm going to answer your question in a second while you look at more of those. Just to answer that question, Carla, you had before, you can import pretty much anything into Binox. We actually made this super simple. You can just have a spreadsheet of your contacts. You don't even have to clean it. You just dump it in here. Binox does all the secret sauce in the back, and it'll tell you which one are the fields you want to match. You hit send, you process it. You can even apply a hashtag, and we make it super easy to import contacts. There are so many things about Binox that I would love to show you. I just don't want to keep you here all day. Things that we thought about, like opportunity snoozing, right? You ever had that opportunity when somebody said, hey, Walter, call me in 2 months, call me in a month, I'm not ready right now. Snoozing is a way to bring that opportunity back at the time when you need to be, again, focused on that, right? So tremendous tool for that kind of system. So Carla, any other questions on the chat?
Yes, this one says, what technology does the system search for a prospect company?
Sure. So we call that Android. Thanks for that question. We call that technographics, Android. So let me just show you real quick. I'll do a quick search here. By the way, searches that are done, you can save your searches for later search, for later review. We automatically save the ones that you do, but you could also save the ones that you want to have. Now, so right now I did a search for construction companies. If I selected this, let's say I did construction companies who use AutoCAD, right? So let's say I did AutoCAD. I want to see the construction companies that use AutoCAD in my area. There you go. There's 24. So if I'm an expert in AutoCAD, Andre, your marketing campaigns could sound and look like, hey, you know, I'm an expert in AutoCAD. I know the problem, blah, blah, blah. I can help you solve this problem. I only work with construction companies, blah, blah, blah. So it's a way to search for either a software or a hardware component that you're an expert at, technology-based. Okay. Video mail is sending a video. Yeah, so video mail, think about like Loom. If you ever used Loom before, that's what video mail is about. So when you start, when you do your video mail, I'm just gonna show you real quick. It probably will kick me out of Zoom. That's why I don't kick it off. But basically, when you start this button, it records the screen. You select what you want to record. You select the screen you want to record, the tab maybe on your browser, and if whether or not you want your video. But I can tell you that the power of video is it's amazing. I close so many deals just because I'm able to do that, and maybe even instruct your customers that when you look at, for example, ConnectWise Sell, sometimes people don't know how to approve these quotes or pay you, right? So I always make a quick video. Oh, this is how you pay. This is how you pay me. So Carla, what else we got?
Sure. I also have, do I need to buy leads from you to keep them in the CRM?
No, No, you're gonna have access to this lead section anyway, and you can create your list, maintain, edit, change, whatever you want to do with your list. You can import your own data here. We don't own it, you own it. And we don't dictate whether or not you need to buy leads from us. I mean, I will tell you though, and again, full disclaimer, I use the product. If I'm doing marketing, I want to make sure I'm doing marketing to the right people, because that is the greatest expense for me, is to market to the wrong people. So I recommend looking at it. Okay. We'll give you some leads to test, by the way. Any new member gets free leads. What else, Carla?
Does your CRM integrate with Autotask?
Yes, we have a deep similar integration with ConnectWise. And I have time for one more, Carla.
Sure. Is the marketing campaign building included in your CRM?
Oh, great question. Yeah, so we wanted to build a marketing campaign, email marketing campaign, that you don't require some expert to build. We want you to take control of this entire journey. And so we built a builder that is, in my opinion, one of the easiest one I've ever seen. I was a beta tester for Soho. That should tell you a lot. And you know, we wanted a builder that you can easily drag and drop an image. You can dump your social media icons. You can do a lot of things, preview it, save it as a template, save it as a campaign. Because we own the SMS texting, the phone call, we can trigger based on those things. So we have a full marketing campaign that you can enjoy in the platform. Great question, Carla. So, quick news, just before we end the webinar, I just want to let you know that by the middle of Q1, we will be releasing our own quoting tool. We're going to be using an incredible search engine, much better if you're using ConnectWise Sell or any of the old tools. The problem people have with that is that they still use the same search engine called Eatalyze for distributors. We're going to be using something new that is super, super great and fast. So take advantage of that. We're going to be giving away, by the way, our plans start at $50. Like, I mean, if you can't get, I can't help you if you're not going to spend $50 in your business, but take advantage of the free offer today. We're giving away a free trial, and you will get 25% off any of our plans for the first 3 months of the year. We're giving this because we believe that everyone should be hitting the ground running starting January 1st. So go to binoxmsp.com/webinar offer. Again, Carla will type it in the chat here, but that is binoxmsp.com webinar offer. If you have any questions, this is my information. But I'm very grateful that you guys came into this meeting. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for your time. Take care, everybody.
Binox CRM is uniquely designed for MSPs, and you can go from sourcing highly qualified leads to selling in less than a minute. Let Binox automation work for you. Follow up, quote, and convert. More customers in one place.